you're an online coach who's burnt out and not even hitting 50K per month, here's why. Number one, your close rate is abysmal. Let's say you're closing at 25%. By industry standards, a lot of people would tell you that you're doing a great job, but think about it this way. 75% of the time that you get on a sales call, you're quite literally just wasting your time. Imagine I told you that if you go to the gym and work your ass off for an hour in the gym for 100 days straight, that only 25 of those days were actually going to affect your physical body. Only 25 of those days were actually going to help you lose weight and get in better shape. In the other 75 days, you have to go to the gym, work hard, do your cardio, lift heavy weights for nothing. It's quite literally for nothing. It's just a wash. It's just an expenditure of energy with no results and no return. Would you really be motivated to go to the gym if 75% of the time was quite literally just a waste of time and energy? Yeah, probably not. And that's exactly what's happening on your sales calls if you're only closing at 25%. Shit, I'd be burnt out too if I was only closing 1 in 4 people and then wasting 3 and 4 hours of my time getting on calls that didn't close. So if you want to get better at sales, well, I have a bunch of videos on my YouTube. I have a bunch of videos on my Instagram. But if you're a high ticket coach taking 20, 30 calls a month, you're only closing 25, 30, even 40%, which isn't that great or that difficult to accomplish. Book a call with me and I'll show you how to close more sales and build you a sales process that's customized for you, your ideal client, and your price points modeled around the most common objections that you hear. Number two, you have a low price, or at least low enough that it doesn't feel good to enroll and serve new clients. What I see over and over and over again, I've done this for 6 years with over 350 coaches and closers. When your price is low, subconsciously, you're not even motivated to close these prospects. You don't hang in the buying pocket long enough and go to war for this person and handle these objections because you know that if they join your program, you're going to have to show up and go to war for them now as a client, but you've been severely undercharging for what they're actually getting in terms of delivery. I come across coaches every day of the week and they have these 6-month, 8-month, 12-month programs and they're charging $2,500, $3K, $5K. I don't want to get out of bed and work for $5K today, let alone work for $5K today for the next 6, 8, 12 months. That's crazy and at scale doesn't work. When you raise your price and you charge what you're actually worth, you're now motivated to go to war on your sales calls, which inevitably increases your close rate, puts more cash in your pocket, and gives you more excess cash to reinvest in marketing, increase your lead flow, and ultimately scale your business. Who the fuck told you that you should be charging $2K for a 6-month program? Why not just charge $12K for a 6-month program? I don't care what other people who are lunatics in the market are charging. You're literally modeling your pricing off of a broken model of somebody else that doesn't have the balls and the confidence to charge what they're actually worth. I had a client join my program named Trey. Trey is a professional basketball player and he teaches kids on the court how to think quicker and get better results on and off the court in the game of basketball and life. He's literally selling his program to middle and high schoolers from the ages of 11 to 18, meaning the parents obviously need to get involved to make the financial decision. When he hired me, he was charging a couple $1,000s for his program. And guess what? On his calls, not going to war, getting super frustrated, and definitely hitting a point of burnout where he could no longer scale. And the worst part, he was making like 10, 15K per month. Well, we had a couple of heart-to-hearts and I said, Trey, what is this program worth? He goes, dude, it's worth a minimum of 10K all day long, but how do I charge 10K? And I said, you show up to the call with confidence and you demand the price that you're worth. So guess what he did? He started charging 11K on a payment plan, $9,800 paid in full. Piff, 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 piff. He did over $70,000 in top line revenue last month. Do you think Trey is now feeling burnout, charging what he's worth, making more money than he's ever made in the coaching space, enrolling higher level clients of his dreams? Absolutely not. He's on cloud 9, and now he's going to continue off of that momentum to push the business further and faster. Higher price also means higher level, better clientele. It's always the people. It's always the people. I will repeat, it is always the people that pay the least that take up the most time and energy. And I know you're sitting here laughing like, yep, That one guy I let into the program on a discount, on a scholarship offer, on a scrappy payment plan, ended up being my worst, most nightmare client. It happens every single time. The more people pay, the more they pay attention. The more they pay attention to all of your assets, the less hand holding that they need. People who spend more money come from a place of abundance, not desperation, and they always become better clients. And lastly, you're over indexing in terms of support inside of your program. Now, coming from me, the guru of client success, that might sound crazy, but hear me out. When you over deliver in terms of one-on-one calls and group calls, your clients now become dependent on you. It's almost like you have this weird distrust for your clients where you think that they're helpless and they need you, mommy or daddy, there every minute of every day to hold their hand. And guess what happens? Once they finish your program, they are astronomically fucked because you're no longer there to hold their hand. They become dependent on you and you're setting them up for failure long term. Not only are you setting them up for failure long term, but you're also burning yourself out by giving people 8, 10, 15 one-on-one calls, 3 group calls a week. I made $172,000 last month in cash. My program has 2 group calls per week. I'm pretty sure you don't have some ungodly amount of clients where you need 6 and 7 and 9 group calls per week. And when you give that much support in terms of group and you give that much support in terms of one-on-one calls, guess what happens? They don't use your pre-recorded back-end assets because why would they? They can just show up and get you live. Why would they go through any of the pre-recorded content at all? Now you have people who aren't doing the homework behind the scenes because you've designed a model inside of your coaching program that doesn't require them to do so, which means every new enrollment that doesn't do their homework shows up to the one-on-one and the group calls asking the same repetitive questions over and over and over. And the fastest way to burnout is by answering those questions over and over and over for an extended period of time. When you trim up your one-on-one calls in your group calls and you only give them what's necessary, people then value your time and they no longer ask stupid questions, and B, they do their due diligence when going through the modules, and C, when they do have you one-on-one or in a group setting, they value that time and expertise. So they get straight to the point. They have higher level questions already prepared and the conversations flow much better. So in order to avoid burnout, we must raise our close rate, raise our prices, and make sure our client delivery is exactly what they need, no more, no less. When you over index on client support, you burn out and you can never scale to 50K and beyond. Raising your price is easy. Grow some balls and charge what you're worth right now, today. Fixing your client success, also easy. Sit down with the clients that have gone through your program and figure out how many calls they actually used, how many group calls they actually showed up to, how much support on the back end they actually used and went through. Then you can revamp your offer in terms of client delivery to only give them what they need. You can do that on your own. Close rate is the one that's significantly harder to fix on your own. So again, if you're a coach taking 10, 20, 30 or more sales calls every single month, but you're struggling to handle objections and one call close prospects paid in full, my calendar is linked down below. Click the link, book in a time with myself and my team, and I'll chat through how we can install a sales process that can serve you at a higher level, meaning way more people will actually buy your program. I don't really care what niche your prospects are in, if it's a biz op or career coaching. I don't really care how cold your prospects are when they show up to the call. I don't really care if they're rich or poor or old or young. There is a way to design a sales process for you, your ideal client, your price point, and the common objections that you're getting that can increase your close rate dramatically. And guess what happens when you increase your close rate? You now have the confidence to increase your price. And with more people, you're then forced to fix your client delivery. When you group all 3 of these things together, you inevitably avoid burnout, you hit record-breaking months, and you have the bandwidth to keep scaling further and faster. There's a reason I'm able to do over $170,000 last month in cash with 1 part-time assistant, 1 part-time appointment setter, no CSMs, no salespeople, no head coaches. It's just me, which allows my business to run at 80 to 85% profit margins. And the kicker, I only work 4 days per week. I don't take calls on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I can just use that time to do some admin work, record great videos like this for you, and button up anything that was missed Monday to Thursday. And just so you know, that wasn't by accident. That was by design. I mapped out my company to go to $250,000 per month with one assistant and one appointment setter before I needed to hire any key team members to come in and help me. So how is it that you're stuck at 10, 20, 40K per month with the inability to scale while feeling frustrated and burnt out? It's because your close rate is too low, your pricing is too low, and you're over indexing on the amount of one-on-one and group calls that you're giving your clients. You fix these three things, you hit 50K per month and beyond, and you finally get your life back. Enjoy.